the Seattle Untimely. I'm Charles Armstrong.
And I have a cold. And here are some jokes about the news. This week on American Idol, voters eliminated Melinda Doolittle, meaning that Bothell resident Blake Lewis has advanced to the final round. Lewis has become a fan favorite, largely through his unique and impressive beatboxing style, which most watchers do not realize is actually cheating. Upon hearing the news of Lewis advancing, former Idol finalist Sanjaya Malakar was very supportive of his fellow Seattle contestant, even offering his services as a backup singer during Blake's final performance, an offer to which Blake responded, Sanjaya isn't the only Seattleite cheering Lewis on. A recent poll shows that Lewis ranks third among locals as Seattle's favorite musical act, coming in just behind Kenny G and that tuba guy who plays outside of Mariners games.
Last week, the Seattle Art Museum opened an extension downtown in the newly built WAMU Center. To celebrate the opening, the museum threw a party of sorts and remained free and open to the public for 36 consecutive hours. Museum officials were positive about the event, stating, "If there's one thing this museum wants, it's drunk people wandering around our priceless works of art at 3 in the morning."
And now to comment on the Seattle Art Museum's collection in the new extension, here's a street-hardened cop who's been given the unenviable job of tailing an enigmatic art thief, even though he could give a rat's ass about some fruitcake art exhibits.
Yeah, so I could give a rat's ass about art, but this art thief, he loves this stuff. Supposedly he likes that ethnic, tribal art. Doesn't do it for me. You know, you look at Leonardo da Vinci, guy's stuff looks good, realistic. Looks like you can walk into the painting. You can't argue with that. But these masks, where the proportions are all off? I mean, I know it's a style, but I don't know if it's good. I mean, it could be I'm standing there, pretending to like it, and a guy who's actually from Togoland comes up and says, "That's the worst mask I've ever seen. My kid does that." I mean, I don't know, but it's my job, what are you gonna do? And then get this, now they've teamed me up with some other notorious art thief, Hector the Collector, to help me catch this guy. And what do you think Hector wants to do all day? Look at art. He likes that installation art stuff. For instance, they've got this weird ladder thing leaning up against a wall, but it's made out of flat screens with like images going up the ladder. So that's a piece of art. I mean, Hector, that screwball speaks in riddles anyway, so this is right up his alley. But I'm thinking, you buy 10 flat screens and this is how you blow my mind? Hook that up to the M's game, you know what I'm saying? Ichiro, now there's one of the masters. Anyway, I mean, the place has nice bathrooms. Holy crap, he's stealing! We'll catch him! Oh, I'm just listening to the ball game over here. Anyway, yeah, that was my report.
Thank you, officer. And now, with an analysis of the museum extension's architectural features, here's rich Seattle socialite playboy and debonair businessman art collector Richard Crowning III. Thank you for joining us, Richard.
Thank you for having me, Charles. Well, I have to say, the new extension on the Seattle Art Museum certainly holds some very enticing pieces of art. And the architecture of the new building serves to make them much more, how shall I say this, accessible.
Accessible? How do you mean?
Well, for example, in order to get at the paintings in the old Seattle Art Museum, one had to jump through a few hoops, shall we say. Whereas, in the new building, its location in a tall high-rise affords some rather non-traditional entrance points, if you get my meaning.
Oh, I see. So you're that elusive art thief that cop was talking about.
Oh, why, Charles, whatever would give you that impression?
Well, your constant double entendres, for one.
Well, I can't say that I know what you're talking about. Wink, wink.
Okay, look, well, we really wanted you to talk about architecture, but if you want to talk about art theft, that's also fine. We just sort of need to do this interview.
So it's going to be a bit of the old cat and mouse game then, is it?
No.
Oh, well, then if not that, we must be dancing the old Texas two-step.
What? Okay, look, let's make this easy. Are you an art thief?
I prefer to think of myself as an art collector.
So, yes.
Well, if the price is right, I certainly know how to find a good steal.
Have you ever stolen or do you plan to steal a work of art from the Seattle Art Museum?
Theft? Who, me? Charles.
Okay, just forget it. We're done.
However, I do love a good challenge.
No, we're done. Get out of here. Go steal some art with some pseudo-clever scheme right under the nose of that doltish cop.
Well, maybe I will.
Well, that's just about all the time we have here at Seattle Untimely.
As always, please feel free to email us at seattleuntimely@gmail.com.
And remember, Seattle, if you didn't hear it from us,
You shouldn't have been listening in the first place.
I traveled from Maine to Mexico just to